Greetings, I'm Dev the Developer. This lesson covers two more semantic elements, header and footer. Both show up in almost every page you will write, and both are more flexible than their names suggest. We will look at how they work at the page level, and then how that same flexibility applies inside individual articles. Header and footer tags are semantic elements. The keyword there is semantic. They do not add any visual styling on their own. They tell the browser and anything else reading your HTML what role that content plays in the structure of the page. Header tags mark introductory content. That typically means a site logo, a main heading, a navigation bar, or some combination of those. It is the content that orients the user when they land on the page. Footer tags mark closing content. Things like copyright notices, secondary navigation, contact links, and legal disclaimers. It's the content that wraps things up. Neither one is telling the browser where to put anything. That's CSS's job. These elements communicate meaning, not position. Let's look at how they work at the page level. This is the most common usage and a good place to start. All humans reserved. The structure here is straightforward. The header contains the site title and the main nav. The footer contains a copyright line and a secondary set of links. Neither of those elements is doing anything visual by itself. Drop this into a browser with no CSS and it'll just stack on the page. Add CSS and you can position the header across the top, pin the footer to the bottom, do whatever you need. The HTML does not care either way. And here's the part that surprises people. Header and footer tags are not restricted to page level. You can use them inside an article as well. Think about a news article. It has its own title, its own byline, its own publication date. That is introductory content specific to that article. And it might have a closing note, a source citation, or a last updated line at the bottom. That is closing content specific to that article. Those are header and footer tags inside an article tag, and they are completely valid. So the article has its own header with a heading and a byline, and its own footer with metadata at the end. These are completely separate from the page level header and footer. There is no conflict. Each one is scoped to its context. This is what makes these elements genuinely useful. The names could make you think they are locked to the top and bottom of the page, but they're not. Anywhere you have introductory content, you can use a header. Anywhere you have closing content, you can use a footer. The element does not move on its own. It just communicates what the content is. One thing to know, you cannot nest a header inside of another header, and the same is true with the footer. They cannot contain themselves. That would not make any structural sense anyway, but the spec calls it out explicitly. Other than that, they're pretty flexible. Header and footer tags mark introductory and closing content. Use them at the page level for your site header and footer. And use them inside articles or sections when that content has its own intro or closing material. CSS handles the positioning of them. The elements just tell the page what things are. Now, go build a page that has both and see how they fit together. Don't just watch it, do it.